Alright, another brief Triggerscope video here. I'm going to first download and use the Triggerscope GUI for this demonstration. So I'm at GitHub, ARC, Triggerscope GUI. You can find a link here on the ARC website. So we'll go ahead and download the zip file for this repo. Alright, that's going to show up in my downloads folder, so we'll go over to downloads. I already did this before, so we'll go ahead and just delete this real quick. Okay, so I'll go to my downloads. You'll have the file there, and we'll just say extract all, and I'm going to call it master. Okay, so now I have the file extracted. In here is going to be another zip, and this is the zip we're going to put wherever we want the application to run. We'll do extract all. And I'll just probably do it on the downloads folder again. Okay, so this is extracting the GUI application and supporting libraries. Okay, finished. So if I go to the GUI folder, I'm going to have a whole bunch of files here. If I want to move this folder, I can. Just have to copy everything here. So if you copy this, you can move it over to anywhere you want, and it'll run as long as you've got the supporting files. So here I'm going to say open. It'll complain that it doesn't have an install. This is because it wasn't registered in the Windows manifest. We'll run it anyway. Go ahead and let this run. Okay, you can see here it scanned for viruses, no big deal. All right, so what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to run a live window of my oscilloscope output here. And so maybe if I run a video, let's see if we'll zoom in. Maybe not. Okay, so I've got this live video, Triggerscope's connected. So the first thing I'll do is I'll select my port, and I'll open the port, and then I'll slide my range control. Okay, so we can see it change. Now in this case the range does indeed go up to 10 volts, but let's say that what I want to do is I want to change this range, and I want to change it so that maximum output will go no greater than 5 volts. So what I'll do is I'll choose the range value that I'd like, so in this case 0 to 5 volts. That'll reset the output, and now if I just go in and select, 65535, it'll peak out at 5 volts. The problem is that this is not saved into the memory, the flash file on the Triggerscope unit. So before I do anything else, I'm going to say File, Save Range Values. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll quit out of the system, and I'm actually going to show the Triggerscope here. Now this particular Triggerscope is not boxed. It's alright. What I'll do is I'll turn it off, unplug it, and this is just to demonstrate this. Plug it back in, turn it back on, and now we will activate the software one more time. This time, notice it doesn't complain for us, which is nice. Let's go grab the camera again, and now if I open my port, open port. Okay. Now if I adjust my range, I'm getting out a maximum of 5 volts. And so the reason for that is because I changed the range value for dynamic control. Under the hood I could watch kind of what's going on in the background, and what's happening in the background there is for instance, if I change a range value here, 0 to 10, okay, and if I look, the Triggerscope's actually reporting back what I'm sending it. And so that's great. That'll change the range while the Triggerscope's running. But if I reboot the system, that range value may not be updated. And so by using the save settings command, what I'm doing is I'm actually writing the range values to a file inside the SD card, which is attached to the Triggerscope. And each time the Triggerscope is rebooted, that file is accessed. So just to show that, a bit more directly, I'll go over to my Arduino application, and I'm just going to open up a serial monitor, and you can see that when I connect, the first thing it says is SD settings loaded. And so if I reset, we'll see that again. That's the first thing it does. And so when I do a save settings, which is the same command used in the GUI, that save settings command is writing the current values down to the Triggerscope SD card. So set your range values up the way you like. You can set all 16 of them, issue the save settings command, and then you shouldn't have to write them again. This is also true for the trigger edge responses. If you want to change those, a save settings command will record those into the SD card memory. And that's it.